Welcome to Or to Know Better. This is the main pod on a Tuesday night. Hope you're all well. Luke, how are you doing, man?
How am I doing? It's a good question, mate. If you'd have asked me at half time, I would have probably felt a lot differently to how I feel tonight. But yeah, I'm not in football in terms. I'm not in a great place based on what's happened this weekend. Lots and lots to talk about as to why, I suppose. But yeah, not ideal, mate, for me. What about you?
Yeah. Well, I've kind of had my grief cast there with Gilly the last day, so it's I've kind of exorcised some demons from that, I think. But there's always plenty more to talk about. Do you want to maybe roll it there while we're waiting for Jay?
Yeah, I'm hoping he's going to join us. Otherwise, he's going to get a nickname for himself like you, isn't he?
Hey, I still have mine there. I'm quite proud of that.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Or to Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
You look like fucking Brolin, you're a Leeds hating bastard.
Look like some sort of fucking weird floating head. No.
He's a utensil player a bit, innit?
I mean, I feel a bit right, dickhead.
Nothing spectacular, really.
Well,
No,
yeah. That's
He's not anything spectacular. He can't even get here on time.
He can't even get here on time, but his apparently his camera isn't being picked up by StreamYard, so technically, probably still Jay's fault.
Definitely.
So Jay said there right at the end that it wasn't kind of anything impressive. I don't.
Hang on.
Yes.
Before we get into it, I have got something quite impressive and quite spectacular. This shirt will be going to one of our lucky bidders tonight. So we've been taking bids on it for about a week now, I think. Yeah, a bit of a silent auction going on. Oh, here he is.
Hey, Jay. How's it going, man?
Well, stuff's working finally.
Hey, that's the stuff. I noticed you still haven't put our heads in that window yet.
Not yet, pal. Not yet.
Yeah.
He's not.
To be honest with
one,
you, I don't even want to be here.
Let me just start with something spectacular, Jay. Let me just start with something a little bit more spectacular. So this shirt. Oh, you can't see me. Let me swap myself with Jay. There we go. So this will be going to somebody. We have been taking bids. We have got a highest bid at the moment. So if anybody watching, listening, by the end of tonight, we will announce who that shirt is going to and how much we've raised. How much Jay Susencio, I think his name is, Jay Michael's in the chat, who donated it, and we're going to be donating that money to Andy's Man Club. So yeah, anybody wants to bid on it, you'll know by the end of the show exactly who is the highest bidder. Throw some bids in the comments if you want to. DM us on Twitter. Jay can keep an eye on the DMs. I'm sure he's not got usually much to say. So yeah.
Luke, I know you were just mentioning that there, but Predictions League, apparently everyone fucked it, and 0 points all round.
Yeah, 0 points all round, so no change to the board anyway. I did ask Gilly for him earlier, and I pretty much got that answer. I think everybody expected a different result this weekend before the game, and even during. It's just, I mean, you know, we just can't. It was a throwaway for me this weekend. It was absolutely fucking dreadful. It was the worst I've seen us play, in fact, for a long, long time. And that's taken into account, you know, 7-1 drummings by City under Bielsa and some of the shit we played under Marsh. That second half was fucking awful.
Yeah. Well, with that in mind, I'm going to go to you first, Jay, because you know, why not? You don't seem to have a lot to say, so tell us what you think. You didn't come for a pint afterwards. You just went off home and sat in your hot tub and cried, did you?
Wrinkled up like a little Peroon.
That's what you like to imagine, Luke. You go for it.
Oh, yeah.
I tell you what. Jesus Christ. I don't need this, mate. I really don't. You know.
You need to get it out, Jay. You need to talk about it, man. You need to
use this as therapy. Use it as therapy.
Leeds therapy, man.
I don't want anything to do with football anymore. After that,
I said exactly the same today. I said the last thing I want to do tonight. The last thing I want to do tonight is talk about Leeds United, especially with everything that's been going on Twitter. I've just avoided the majority of it. Just all this news because a lot can change. From beating Forest, whenever it was 10 days ago or whatever, to coming on tonight to actually talk about how shit we were at the weekend, and then the other things we're going to get to talk about. It's just fucking a week. A lot can happen in a week at Leeds United.
It certainly can. It's like no other club in
Very
the world.
much.
And that's both a good and bad thing at times. But I mean, that game, just.
Is that Jay or me?
I'm just thinking the same thing.
Probably going crazy.
It's definitely gone crazy.
You see me now? Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
You're very.
Can you hear me now?
You're very shit, shall we say?
Nothing wants to work.
There we go. We got you back.
Yeah, kind of.
No, we haven't.
No, gone again.
I'm just going to remove him for a sec because it's just painful to watch and hear. But
Give us
I
your
mean,
opinion
Karl,
then, man.
I said at half time that apart from the soft equaliser right at the very end of that first half, I felt that was some of the best, most controlling football we'd played for a long, long time. And the first half, other than that, as I say, other than that really soft goal, Palace never looked in that game. We had so many chances. Their goalkeeper, what's his face?
Scum.
Johnston, wasn't it? West Brom, ex-West Brom, I think he was, wasn't he? Just made some cracking saves. We could have been 3-4-0 up at half time. Instead, they got a late equaliser, which ultimately turned the tide of the game for me. They came out with their tails up, and we came out with his tail between his legs. But it was just the old cliche game of two halves. We looked the worst I've ever seen us in the second half, or the worst for a very long, long time. And the first half, we looked arguably some of the best I've seen for a long, long time. So I just don't know what went on, and obviously there's things circulating and rumours going round about as to what might have happened for that to happen.
We'll get on to that in a few minutes as well, though. Yeah. But like the outcome at the end wasn't what anyone was expecting. So, Jay, are you back there now with us, or are you still Fubar, or what's the crack?
I seem to be right now. I don't have a clue what's going on because I've not touched anything, not changed anything. Today, nothing works. So.
Not even touched your todger?
Well, I might have done that, but we won't talk about that on here. No, I mean, the first time in my life I couldn't go for a pint after. I was so I didn't like, my brain were blank. I couldn't comprehend what I'd just seen. I couldn't cope with it. I just had to walk away. I just had to, and I just sort of sat and contemplated for a bit, and then drove home. I couldn't listen to anything to do with football. I couldn't watch anything. I still can't. I'm just not. I can't understand how you can have two such different halves of football. I can't understand how you can go from absolutely battering a team to coming out and suddenly there's just nothing, and every attack is a goal. Yeah, and they're just all looking at each other like they've given up, And fucking Ayling apparently tearing into people, and he was shite second half. He was absolutely shocking, and he's given away multiple goals in the last month, and he's absolutely started to cost us. And I've always been a fan of Ayling, but they can take him out back and shoot him for me after that.
A friend of mine in another group said that maybe sentiment needs to get in the bin now and bite the bullet with a few players. We'll probably get on to a little bit of that later on, but I think Ayling, maybe one of those that's going to be a potential squad player now that they've given him a new contract. I think no more than that. I think, but just in relation to the game, Jay, I was talking to Gilly on BNC on yesterday actually, and we tried to pinpoint where it started to go wrong. I gave my opinion. Where do you think it went wrong for you? I'll come to you next, and Luke with the same question.
I think it was that goal that we conceded when we conceded it. It just, I don't know why, but it seemingly knocked the stuffing out of them. And it was just like when we played them at their place, on top, and then they score and we just fall apart. It's just baffling. It's just absolutely baffling. And it's not the first time we've conceded a goal. For fuck's sake, we weren't even behind. Do you know what I mean? So why did we not just come out and carry on as we were? Because we were going to win that game. There were no doubt in my mind at half-time. That goal was just like a minor annoyance. I wasn't worried by it. I didn't think, oh, shit, we've blown it now. I just thought, that's annoying. But I did predict 2-1, so, thinking, oh, yeah, we'll go back out and smash them. It'll be great. And it was just night and day. And I wish I'd stayed in the fucking bar and drank that piss that they served for £6 a pint. I'd rather have done that. Yeah. It was just baffling. I just cannot understand how that group of players that played that first half could turn out looking like they were all pissed and had never met each other before. Where did it all go? Why did we stop doing the things we were doing? Why did the game plan fall apart? That's what I don't understand.
No, Luke, just taking out the obvious talking point there about what went on in the dressing room, is there anything that you like? They're professional footballers at the end of the day. You come back out on the pitch and you're meant to do your job to the best of your ability, not fuck around and hold grudges from what happened in the dressing room. You cross the white line, simple as that, to do your job. Do you think that they bring everything from the dressing room out onto the pitch and let that affect how we played, or do you think was it more a tactical thing that fucked us?
Do you know what? I think Hodgson felt that they could get something out of the game at halftime before that even happened. Before even these rumours circulated, he pushed Elise and Eze slightly more forward, and they controlled the first few minutes of the second half. I went in at halftime, and I was similar to Jay. I didn't have any doubt that we were still going to win that game. If we started that second half the way we started the first, they got a lucky goal, and that happens. That does happen, and we never felt under pressure for the majority of that first half, if not all of it, apart from that goal. And I no doubt in my mind that we were going to come out same as the first and control it and probably score another 2 or 3. They might, They changed their shape ever so slightly, but it wasn't anything major in terms of a tactical change, I don't think. I just felt Eze and Elise just played better football. They didn't have a touch in the first half. Hodgson decided to play them slightly further forward. We were on the back foot, and when we were on the back foot, we like Jay says, we just fucking folded. And it's so sad to see from a number of characters in that team that I would put my life on. I would have put my life on at some stage over the last few years while they've been with us. And it just wasn't nice to see. It wasn't pretty. It was quite disheartening, to be fair, to see players just walking, strolling around. Just to go on to what you mentioned before, if the news is true, that around the bust up, and we don't obviously nothing's been released, nothing probably will. It's all rumours at this stage, but if that is something that's going on or has gone on, we could be up shit creek.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone in that match got any real credit, but I do want to say that Rodrigo worked pretty hard when he came on. He was coming really deep, trying to sort of win things back and get stuff going, but there was just nothing happening around him at all. I didn't see anything else positive.
Like Luke said there as well, I just kind of looked at it and I was like, they soaked up the pressure in the first half and basically limited the damage we could do. Or what that like the keeper had the game of his life there. There was a couple of saves in that first half where he had no right to make one or two of them. Jackie's free kick was in the corner. How did he get to that? Then there was the one where he'd slipped and there was a deflection. He still managed to save it. You know what I mean? And these are all on the line. And it's like to go for them to go into the second half, and like you said, Luke, they changed their shape slightly. Nothing that should have caused us any real problems, but they were more effective on the break when we lost control of the ball in their final third, and it really affected how we played. Like, you know.
Yeah, and just some of the comments here. Watching the stadium empty out with time left was almost as bad as watching the goals go in for me. It's horrible to see. As you know, we pride ourselves on being this, you know, this passionate fan base. But I understood why people were walking out. I don't like to see it, but I completely understood. Completely.
I'm not gonna lie. I only stayed till the end so I could boo the fuckers off.
Stubborn.
I was that angry.
Yeah,
to make sure I got my feelings across, mate.
It's just almost this for me can go one of two ways. We either realise it's the kick up the arse we need, and we're not safe at home and dry, or it's going to go absolutely opposite way, and things are just going to get a lot worse. And I hope it's the form. I hope it's the first of those, because we can't afford to have players, two midfielders who had a great first half together. By the way, if this is true, I mean, again, it's all hearsay. McKennie and Rocker apparently had this argument at halftime, because argument over whose fault the goal was. I believe Elland's then had a strong word with the pair of them who didn't. I mean, fair enough. Club captain, he's got his duties, but lead by example. Do you know what I mean? If you're going to start fucking pointing the finger, mate, and that's come out and have a good second half, don't fucking, you know, don't start pointing the finger and making out to be whiter than white. Then put a performance in like that. It's not acceptable.
No, it's not. And senior players have to know better than that, and they have to lead better than that. Otherwise, what's the point of them being in the team? Off to the bench you go.
Yeah, you do kind of have to be a bit more vocal if you're wearing that armband as well. But like you were saying, Luke, it's pointless being more vocal if you're not going to show that same kind of commitment in the second half as you did in the first.
Yeah,
that's right. What do we make of the substitutions? I know Firpo took a knock and went off, but was it the knock, or was it because he was on a yellow and to bring Christensen on?
Yeah, I thought that was odd.
Yeah.
I didn't really understand that.
We were essentially shutting shop, trying to damage limitation, I think, at that stage. Because what was it, 3-1 at 3-1 then? There was no way he was bringing Christensen on.
There's a lot to play for at 3-1, Karl, for me. I think 3-1 there is a lot to play for.
Yeah, but we weren't able to play. We weren't playing. That's the thing. We weren't any good to be able to take anything from it. We were absolutely shocking in the second half, and to sacrifice more going forward when you're 3-1 down, we couldn't hit a barn door. None of the cutbacks beat the first man or the goalkeeper. None of the crosses, at bar maybe 2 or 3 dead balls, hit their man. And if they're not happening, then we're fucked. Like, there's no point in bringing on more attacking players for the sake of it. Just replace like for like, because the result was the same anyway.
I think for me that game lacked obviously leaders and leadership, and that's why we crumbled. I think for me, if we were going to bring somebody on, I would have brought Cooper on and pushed Struijk out to left back. I think that would have been my move. You bring Cooper,
probably been a better move.
Just for his leadership. I think Cooper's done now. I mean, he's obviously fourth or fifth choice now, centre back for us. But that type of game against a Roy Hodgson side, I think that could have benefited us. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. Rasmus might have come on and scored an hat-trick. You know, he didn't, but it was poor. He played really poor at left back. I thought he'd played some half decent football when he'd featured recently at right back. Certainly since Gratchi has been here as well. I'd have been tempted to take Elland off and put Christensen on there anyway, because I thought Elland's been shocking recently. I failed to remember the last good game he's had for us. But when he does, he has a really good game. You know, but we can't be relying on him having one of those good games. We need some solidarity, and we need somebody who's going to actually lead the team and stick their hand up and be counted. And we know Liam Cooper will do that. He'll put his foot in. He will do that. He'll put his head in. We look so different without Wober as well. He just brings that headiness in there, and we just look like a completely different outfit without him.
That from back to front, absolutely fucked us, hasn't it?
Yeah. It's taken the wind out of Willie's sails as well. Like, he's kind of spitting and farting here now at the moment, and it's not really happening for him. Like, so you could see when he came on there on Sunday, it was a little bit like, I don't know, he couldn't get going. I thought he'd be a great impact sub on the day, but there was nothing happening for him, unfortunately. Just to talk about the thing at half time just a little bit before we go into another part there, lads. Apparently it's rumoured that it was the running pitch stewards, according to that Twitter post, that leaked the argument in the dressing room, apparently. So, I don't know. It was
Will
put
we
up
ever
on
know?
Twitter.
I mean, I always take these things with a pinch of salt.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying it's fact. I'm just bringing it up.
Because we've only seen it come from one person, this rumour. Now, if these stewards, plural, have said anything, the chances that only one person has got wind of this story are very, very slim. So look, we have to take it with a pinch of salt. I felt the pair of them were really good first half as well, and even recent games together with Adams missing, they both played really, really well together as a defense and an offensive or attacking unit. So if it has happened, it'd be a shame. However, it needs nipping in the bud. If something like that has happened, it's something that needs nipping in the bud. These are professional footballers that get paid to represent a club. They're not mates playing on a Sunday that can have a little fallout and a squabble and don't have to go for a pint with each other. They have to train with each other 3-4 times a week.
That's it. Yeah.
It's not what we need right now for me. And
you don't want the American lads then to become a little faction, where they're backing the mate up and separating themselves from everyone else either. And that's
can't have anything like
that.
The Sick Note 6 or anything like that again. Can't have that shit happening.
Exactly, we can't. It's just fucking bonkers.
Do you think I'd imagine that's why Xavi has let them all go for a quick mini break this week, perhaps just for a night or two?
Yeah, what do you make of that? I mean, for me, when I first saw that, I thought this is fucking bonkers. But the more I think about it, the more I think, actually, do they need it? Do they need a couple of days just to fucking let off a bit of steam, chill out a bit, and come back refreshed and forget about what's just happened? Almost put it to the back of your mind. Do they need it? But for me, ultimately, I think about some of the best managers to manage in the Premier League, and if your team had just been drilled 5-1 by a relegation rival, the last thing you'd be doing is going on holiday.
Yeah, but a lot of managers might not have had to deal with what potentially went on in the dressing room either, and that's a different kind of scenario as opposed to just getting beaten 5-1, perhaps. And maybe he's looked at it a different way and gone, right, okay, just bugger off for a night. Don't wreck your heads,
Yeah, it's like you say, it's like, you do have to take these things with a pinch of salt, but there has to be a reason why we came out the way we did that second half. There has to be, and I don't see that goal knocking the stuffing out of him a bit as enough to cause such a drastic change. If they came out, they were a little bit flat. They were still trying the same things, but it weren't coming off. That's just all right. They've taken a bit of a blow from that goal, and it's not the confidence a bit. But we didn't do that, did we? We didn't do any of the stuff we were doing before. We didn't even seem to be trying. The passing, we couldn't pass to each other. If the manager looks at that and says, "You know what? I'm just going to let these lads all go away for a couple of days. They don't have to see each other tomorrow. They don't have to see each other for a couple of days. Go blow off steam. Then we'll come back. Everyone's calmed down. Then we'll talk." I can see logic in that. I can totally see why people say, "Oh, bullshit, they're going off on holiday, blah, blah, blah. They're just putting the performance like that." I can get the sense in what he's doing there if that's what he's doing. So it doesn't bother me, to be honest with you. As long as they come back and they make up for what's happened and they show us that they give a shit and that they care. Yeah. That's what.
And I think every manager would view it differently as well. I think it's case by case. And at this stage of the season, we've got to trust what Gratchi does and what
he's got everything right so far.
Yeah, well, apart from that second half at home to Palace, but yeah.
Well, yeah, up to this point, yeah.
But I mean, even the Arsenal performance wasn't that bad. I mean, we got drilled, but it wasn't a 4-1 drilling. It didn't feel like it. You know, we could that at one stage could have probably gone either way as well. So
that was just a difference in quality.
Yeah, absolutely. Andy's suggested 3 games in 8 days. Is burnout becoming a factor? Do we think the lads are getting tired, especially the midfield too, who are having to play almost 90 minutes every game? Rocker, we know he hasn't got that energy in that Tyler Adams or Calvin Phillips had previously for us. We know that he does struggle fitness wise, and McKennie he's clearly lost a bit of weight since he's been with us. That's not. I don't think playing 90 minutes as a midfielder for either of those really is their game. I think they're at high impact. Do their jobs for 65, 70 minutes and have a 15-20 minute break. Do we think they might be knackered?
It's possible. I mean, we've got options though. So if they are knackered, then that falls on the manager. He should be. Who would
you bring on?
Well, we've got Jarby. He's in there. We bought him to play.
Yeah,
so,
good point.
They keep trying to force Greenwood to be a defensive midfielder. So he's another person who's there if they need to call on him.
That was more Marsh though, really. But
yeah, I know. Obviously, you want to see the better players as your first choice players. But if they are getting tired, you've got to manage that. If that means putting someone in slightly less favourable, sometimes that's just what you've got to do. And I wonder if that's why we saw Forshaw return to the bench, because the idea might have been to sub somebody at 65, 70 originally.
Yeah, fair point. Has any player apologised yet? Yes, I think the only player I've seen publicly apologise, not for the what happened, but actually for the performance is Robin Koch. I think he's the only person I've seen come out and put something on social media. I haven't seen any others. But fair play, fair fucks to him for doing that. In fairness. Quick question, Karl. Sorry, I know we've got a few bits to get through, but there's some really good questions coming in. For all those that said beating Arsenal is not our fight, is beating Liverpool, Newcastle, Blue Manchester, and Spurs our fight? It is now.
Yeah, it is now.
Win these games.
Landscape's changed.
I never said that beating Arsenal wasn't our fight. I always said going into it with a free hit mentality is fucking weak. And I always think you go into those games to try and win them. You go into every game trying to win it regardless. Even if we have to play a little bit more defensively, you always try and do it. Look what Palace did to us by playing defensively. They hit us fucking 5 times. So, I think every game needs to be a game that you want to go in to win.
Yeah, fair point. And then Adrian, just last quick question before we move on, Karl. Sorry, mate. Probably missing what's our take on staying up. I think a lot will be determined on the performance against Liverpool at home. Whether we win, draw, or lose, it's about the performance and the players. For me, I think a lot will reflect on. We'll know how the players have dealt with these last few days and that drilling next Monday for me.
Yeah,
big time.
Exactly.
Big time.
Yeah.
It's what happens next that matters the most. Now.
That's not to say if we lose, I think we're relegated. I think it's a lot of the focus area will be on the performance and how the players play together. It's not going to be about. Obviously, the scoreline will be great, but for me, it's about how we come out and how we face these next challenges head on, and whether these boys have got it in them to flip reverse that absolutely fucking dire performance second half.
Well, look at it this way, right? I mean, we're all pissed off, we're all depressed, it's doom and gloom, but at the end of the day, we're level on games with everyone around us except for West Ham above us. We're still 16th. We're not in the bottom 3. It's still in our hands. We're not relegated yet. We can't think that we are, and we can't, start worrying and giving up because the points are still there for everybody to win. And we've got hard games, so has everyone else. We're not in the bottom 3, and it's in our hands.
Yeah.
Do I think this is a great one? I think any captain should be out and doing a post-match interview, win, lose, or fucking draw.
Oh, too right.
I think he's absolutely.
You should have to answer for that.
Yeah, especially given he was one of our worst performers at the weekend. I think absolutely he should have come out and addressed it.
But he I understand that point as well. But he has always come out when the shit has hit the fan. He has always come out.
Fair enough. But it's times like these.
He needed to.
Yeah, he has to come out and address that. Whatever's gone on, he is the captain on the field. He's the one responsible for those other 10 players around him while the ball's in play on the field. And ultimately, he should be the one coming out and facing the media for me, not Paddy Bamford.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So look, we'll move on to the next bit we want to talk about now. Jay, I understand that you were going away there with your positivity and all that kind of thing. So I'm going to bring you right back down to earth, and we're going to talk about the JKA fiasco just for a few minutes.
Oh God.
The Jean-Kevin Augustin fiasco. We're looking like it's going to cost us in total about 40 million for a player that played 48 minutes for the club. Who and where the hell do you think the blame lies with this, and why have the club let it get to this point without just getting it rectified? Luke, I'll go to you first.
I mean, you can't look past the people responsible for the signing. I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing. You know, he could have come in, played fantastically for us. You know, the COVID thing didn't help. You know, there's so many interpretations. Ultimately, we've been told we have to pay that money. We've paid that money for the signing of Jean-Kevin Augustin. We never had the player. We never signed him on a full contract. However, the agreement was if we get promoted, we sign him on this much per week for this long. Now, we didn't do that because our argument was we got promoted after the date on the contract said. So we felt we weren't obliged to pay this fee to Red Bull, and therefore we tried dodging it. And ultimately, it's coming back, and it's almost double jeopardy coming back to bite us, because not only didn't we get a player, we're almost having to pay his contract as well, which sounds absolutely ludicrous, given he's still in employment with another employer and he's got another job, albeit it might not be on as good money as he was offered here, but I can't hold anything against Jean-Kevin Augustin for that. He's got no ties to Leeds. He's got nothing. He doesn't give a fuck about us. Like, in the nicest possible way, he's doing what any of us would do in any form of employment if you were entitled to it. And we've got to look at it like that. And ultimately, the only people you can blame is that fucking idiot Radrizzani and Orta.
Yeah.
What about Kinnear?
Kinnear as well. They're all part of the same gang. You know, they've all had some form of input. And until one of them comes out and says, I had nothing to do with that publicly, they're all culpable.
It's stuff like this that just shows you, like, all the good that they've done for the club between them. It shows you that they still have got lucky many times, that a lot of what's happened, a lot of success isn't because they know what they're doing. It's because they got lucky. They fell lucky with Bielsa. You know, everything else from there was on him pretty much. And either side of him, they've not done anything that's covered him in any kind of glory, have they? Not really.
Not at all.
Where's his tribute? That hasn't turned up yet, has it? They're hoping we've forgot about that. Stadium redevelopment, that was supposed to have started, wasn't it? Or at least be about to start. Yeah. That's not happened. Facilities are shit. Ground's falling to bits. We've got Chernobyl Children's Centre outside at Cheese Wedge with all radioactive toys outside and, you know, all rainwater that they've been capturing so they can boil it. And
I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here, because I was quite excited by this signing when he signed.
I was.
And I was, you know, to tempt somebody who'd been playing Champions League football to come and play in the Championship isn't easy. So I felt the board had done an half-decent job in convincing him. Not... You know, I didn't expect to have such a lump of shite turn up and be injured consistently and have to go through this long ordeal of should we pay for him, should we not? You know, it's very much open to interpretation. Is that contract, and a contract states, I believe, that something along the lines of, if Leeds are promoted on so and so end of June, whatever it is, date, then Leeds are obliged to pay this fee. Now, ultimately, the independent, whatever they're called, decided that the data is irrespective. You got promoted, you've got to pay this. You've got to pay this fee to Red Bull. Now, that's why JKA has now come back and said, actually, if they're entitled to their money, I'm entitled to what I should have been getting if I was playing for Leeds. I don't agree with that as much, by the way, because he never actually signed for us on a permanent deal.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
And he wasn't out. He wasn't at a loss for earnings either, because when he left us, he went to another club anyway, so he was still earning money. He was only at a loss for earnings for what we were going to potentially pay him. But
the difference in wages, he could have probably put a claim in for, but I don't see how you can justify 24.5 million.
Yeah.
What's the basis for that?
He can retire, man.
Near that. That's probably his plan. He's another Brolin. He were good ones. Now he's fat and rubbish, and he wants a payout so he can fuck it all off.
Yeah. So come here, lads. We're of the kind of Luke's made a good point that the board done well to get a Champions League player over to play. I wouldn't trust Jay around dog, pal. He lived up Huddersfield for a while. I know the board
did in that much.
Yeah. The board did well to get him in, like Luke said, but I'm kind of more inclined to think that they're to blame for how it's gone, because they haven't acted quickly enough and they've tried to drag their feet. And like I think it was Bandy said there a little while ago, they tried to pull a fast one and they got caught out. Like, what would give them that kind of mentality to fucking do something that stupid?
Smarty makes a good point here, that what you can't get is massive loaf around, which is huge, is the fact that JKA was signed based on if we got promoted and not if we perform well or hit certain milestones or number of appearances. Any other club that we've dealt with and we've taken somebody on loan, or anybody who takes our players on loan, I'm pretty sure they will probably put some form of clause in there. Must have hit 10 games or scored 5 goals or anything, just performance based, which makes a great point. You know, it's absolutely fucking unbelievable. Now
it does, but I think we were desperate. Part of that might come down to what you said before about getting a player who played Champions League to come play for us. You know,
I think we were really desperate at the time. I mean, it's hindsight's wonderful, isn't it? You know, we can all sit here and say JKA was the worst signing we've ever had. If he'd have come and got a hat full of goals and got us promoted to you know, I mean, he didn't, so we can't really say that. But I felt that we were. I felt at the time that how have we managed to pull that off? You know, Orton must be sprinkling him with, you know, magic fairy dust to actually convince somebody to come from that level of football to come and play for us. Now it turns out it's because he was absolutely fucking crocs. Now does that sit with our medical team? You know, have we done the right due diligence medically on him?
But
was he actually
crocked,
though, or did we crock him? Because I can't even remember now.
No, he had an awful injury record before he joined us, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I can't remember. I tried to put it all out of my mind a long time ago, so
just get relapse every now and then when something like this comes up and we have to pay loads of money out.
Pretty much, I'll wake up in early hours and remember this.
Shaking,
sweating and
shaking.
Right, okay. Well, look, we
makes a good point actually. Scum were trying to sign him, and we beat Scum to his signature.
There you go.
At the time.
That should have told us not to bother, because they were only signing
It's not a bad point, you know. Yeah.
It's like hindsight, though, is wonderful, because in hindsight, we might as well have just signed him and then loaned him out to a French club or something next season.
Or just flogged him. Even if we'd have signed him for the 17 million and flogged him for 5 million and made a 12 million loss, we wouldn't have been in this position. Instead, we're 40 million down with no player. Nothing.
But they totally thought that they had a watertight case with the contract wording, and I can totally understand why they thought that, because if it says a date on it and it doesn't happen by that date, for whatever reason, then surely that's legally binding. You know, it didn't happen,
I would say
so we'd have to do it. And obviously, it got ruled that's not the case, but I'll never understand the ruling or the logic behind it if it's worded the way we were told it was worded.
Yeah,
I'll never get my head around that, and I can see why they thought that they had a case. I don't blame them in that regard for trying. It's just, you know, something's gone wrong somewhere, and whether they were badly advised or whether they've not told us the actual wording or what, I don't know. But
when you fail the first time, don't go back the second time trying again. Like you know, don't like once bitten, twice shy. Don't do it again. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we'll just have to wait and see what Phil Hay and Popey kind of come back with now after hearing all these bits and bobs.
Jesus. Look
Per
at that.
touch of the ball. Oh my
3.4
God.
million per touch of the ball it equates to. Jesus Christ.
They could have signed me for less than that.
They could have
And you've
signed
got
me.
You've got
I've
a chocolate knee.
No legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So
Let's see.
lads, I just want to have just a quick chat really before we go on from this about, or before we go on to Liverpool and predictions. How are you feeling now after Sunday with Xavi Gracia? Are you still as confident? I just wanted to just drop it in there just real quick before we go on to Liverpool because it's kind of leading into it, you know.
Am I still as confident in Gracia's style and tactics and being able to
No, keeping us up. Keeping us up.
As simple as that. Do I think we'll stay up with Gracia?
Are you confident now, even after that he can get the team back to the previous few games where we played actually all right and it wasn't a total shit show like the second half? Are you confident that he can get them going again now coming into Liverpool?
Yeah, I think I've seen enough from him previously. I think even the very best of managers have blips in the road. City get beat by relegation rivals at least once a season. I think sorry, not relegation rivals, but relegation candidates. They never have rivals in the relegation zone at the moment. But yeah, I absolutely think he can turn it around, and I think I almost think that it might be a blessing in disguise. Had we beaten Palace, we could have been very. What's the word? A little bit, where I don't know what the best way of putting it. Yeah, complacent's probably the best word, Jay. I'd rather have beaten Palace. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I think this might be the wake-up call and a little shock to the system that we might need just to realise that hang on, we've still got 8 games left here to play. It's not the end of the season. We're not home and dry. So. In terms of Gracia and keeping us up, and I'm confident that he can change things around. Yeah, I think I am, Karl, to be honest.
Good, right. Okay, Jay, what about yourself? I know you cried in your car for a little while and then drove home. So how are you feeling?
Yeah, my faith in Gracia hasn't changed, really. I still think that he's going to keep us up. But it's with the caveat that if he can quash whatever happened at half-time in that dressing room, because like Luke said before, it's going to go one or two ways. We're either going to fall apart now and be shite for the rest of the season, or it's going to galvanise the team and we're going to come out fighting, and that's what I'm hoping for. We're going to see what he's made of now, what his man management skill is really like, Yeah,
they did might bring a new element to how he approaches things again, maybe.
Yeah.
So after hearing that, Jay, I'll stay with yourself. How do you fancy our chances against Liverpool at home on Monday night? No, they've had a fairly topsy-turvy kind of season, and we took the bull by the horns and beat them around their place. They'll be looking to get one over at us now and in our place. So, with what you've said about Gracia, how are you feeling going into this game?
This is going to sound bonkers, but I've got this weird feeling that we're going to beat them like 1-0 or something, because we always do unexpected stuff. And if it does go the way that we hope it'll go, then the players should come out really fired up, and with a crowd behind them, who knows? I've just got a weird feeling. It don't make any sense to me in my own head, but I've just got a weird feeling that we might just get a shock. I don't know why. Who knows?
Yeah, I might put it down to Andy Robinson. I'd like to put a little bit of an old niggle in on Andy Robinson, because he seems to be able to be wound up like an absolute bleeding muppet these days. So Andy Robertson, yeah.
Andy Robinson's the winger who played for us, the little bald fella.
Oh yeah.
I thought we were talking about Adrian Robinson in comments. Sorry, so that's a bit harsh.
Sorry there, yeah. Luke, again, going off what you said about Xavi and how you're feeling, how are you looking at this game from a defensive point of view, firstly, because we kind of fell apart in the second half?
I think it's a really tough one to have after such a fucking dismal second half. I think it couldn't have really been much worse, apart from if it was away from home. I think Liverpool, like you say, topsy-turvy season, smashed Scum 7-0. but then been beaten by some very, very average
Bournemouth.
teams. Bournemouth and others. But I'm with Jay. I almost expect a reaction, and because of that, it might just be eternal optimism. It might just be eternal optimism, and it might just be the nature of us being Leeds fans, and the expectation. Monday night under the lights, I just feel that we can actually do something. We've shown we can. We beat them away from home. They hadn't been beaten away from. I think they'd only been beaten away from home once in like 3 years, and I think it was Real Madrid or something like that, or 2 years, and we managed to do it. So we've proven we can beat them. We've obviously got one over on them. It's a tough fixture. It is a tough fixture to go into because we just don't know which Liverpool is going to show up. But if ever we wanted to play Liverpool, I think it might be right now because we don't know. We don't know that they can be as bad as they can be good. They've shown that this season. So, optimistic, mate. Optimistic with something. I don't think we'll beat them, but I think we'll hold out for a point at home.
Yeah, I'd like to think that we'd go on the offensive from the get-go and try and get at Alexander-Arnold. He's having an absolute shocker of a season this year. I think he's very much there to have the likes of Nanto or Cine or Somerville. Well, like Somerville made an absolute fool out of him the last time he played against him, so why not try him again? I think that'll be a great old little battle for Somerville to get stuck back into.
Just a quick comment from Kev. Being a Leeds fan, getting dry bummed by Palace, but also believing we could turn Liverpool over.
It's just how it works.
That's it.
It's the same madness that makes us renew our season tickets.
Yeah, that's it.
Which 98% of people have done, by the way.
Yeah. So that means 2% have either dropped dead or had enough.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd like to think that there's a few elements of the Liverpool team that we could definitely get at. I think, like I said, Andy Robertson, he's definitely one that could wind up a little bit. I think even throwing Nanto on him for a little while because he seems to be a little bit of a shite bag. Well, he probably won't before they play us like that. You know how it goes, man. We got lucky with Mitrovic. Ivan Toney is still bloody playing. So. Look, I'd be fairly confident going into it. I just hope that the second half team doesn't come out before the first half team does. And I think maybe we could probably get something out of it, like Lou said. Do
you know what's weird about it? It's weird because, like Luke was saying before, you don't know which Liverpool's going to turn up, but you don't know which Leeds is going to turn up either. So it's a game between two sides that are both Jekyll and Hyde sides. So fuck knows what's going to happen. Might be 5-5.
Isn't it funny? It was only a week or two ago where we're saying how much different we looked in terms of organisation, setup, how much more robust and solid we looked. But before that, and then since that, we've conceded 9 against Arsenal and Palace. Do you know what I mean? It's and only scored 2. So it's what the hell is that? Person turquoise waving. Don't know what that means. Anyway, I think like you're quite right. It could literally be another drumming. It could be. We could get his asses handed to us.
I really hope not. Jesus Christ. Our goal difference can't take another beating like that. Definitely not. Because I think
goal difference.
I think it's going to come down to goal difference, whether we're in it or not. I think that's what's going to be important this season. Because the points are so tight down there, Like if Palace beat Southampton on, is it Saturday they're playing them? They could potentially go fucking 4 points off bleeding, or even 3 points off Chelsea. They get a few wins on the trot and they're pulling away like that. Could have been us, but anyway, it's neither here nor there. Yeah, meh.
That's all I've got. We just have to survive, mate, and I don't care how. We just have to really scratch and scrape and claw and fight now against every single side we play. I don't give a shit.
Fight like you then, with scratching and clawing, yeah?
I don't have to do that, mate. I just do big uppercut because I come from down low. You know what I mean? Get a bit of momentum going.
and jump.
Yeah, basically. Off a little step if I can.
But have anyone else seen the rumours that Bamford's out? He picked up another knock.
Jesus, would we notice?
Where did that come out of all of a sudden? Like,
I've seen it. I've seen a couple of rumours today, various places suggesting that we've had, he's had a knock and he's injured. Don't know how long, don't know how serious, but if his injury record's anything to go by, we might see him next season.
Did he trip on steps getting on plane for his little holiday?
So that means Rodrigo starts. So our style of play is going to be totally different. So by starting Rodrigo. So it might not be a bad thing. With Rodrigo on the pitch, we tend to try and just get it forward as quickly as possible, but a more controlled kind of forward than we did with Jesse. Like, but in that kind of sense, like, so it might not be the worst thing.
I'd rather see Rodrigo start at the moment because for all Bamford's good with his hold-up play, he's not done anything else. He's
scored on Sunday.
Yeah, but fuck me. He got one after how many games when he's missed countless? All those chances he missed against Forest week before. And I've got no faith in him at the moment. I'd rather see Rodrigo get a shot again because he was scoring when he were playing before.
All right.
Steve's just contradicted what I said, basically saying that Liverpool have been very inconsistent and disagrees with me. He thinks Liverpool is the ideal fixture to reset and push on. We don't lose. Look, I think you're right. I think if we can go and put a good, strong performance in Liverpool, it will do us a world of good in comparison to if we were playing Palace again or Southampton or somebody else down there with us, where we expect to, we almost need a test and even win, lose or draw Monday night. As long as I see something from the players that gives me or instills a little bit of hope and a little bit of expectation that we can actually, that we've got a group of players here that can step up and be counted towards the end of this season, because that's what we're going to need. Unfortunately, I don't want to be going down to Spurs away on last game of the season expecting to or needing to at least get a point and other results go away and things like that. I don't want that. So yeah, I think, look, I don't disagree with you, Steve. I sort of partly do agree with you in that it is a good fixture, but it's also a bit of a fucker of a fixture because we don't know which Liverpool, and we've seen how good Liverpool can be this season. But then again, we've seen the other side that they could be so bad. So yeah, fair point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So with that point, like, Luke, I'm just wondering, do you want to maybe get some predictions in, or what would you like to get done now?
Yeah, go for it.
No better predictions.
I let you talk over it, didn't it?
It did for a few seconds.
It did, yeah. What's going on there? Like,
it didn't cut him quick enough.
Jay, you alright to take these down?
Yeah, I'll write them down.
Sweet. So, fans, get your predictions in there. Oh, hold on. Has Danny got it in already there?
I think we got one ages ago from Liam. Yeah. I think he said 1-1 or something.
Yeah, it looks like it's 1-1 from the fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, Jay, you're top still with no change this week.
Yeah, I'm just going to go 1-0 Leeds. Like I say, I don't know why. I don't see a big scoring game, but I've just got a weird feeling that we're going to get a result.
That's not bad.
Me next, I think, is it, Karl? Are you higher than me in the table?
I don't think so. No, I think it's you and Jay at the top at the minute.
I'm not. I've dropped a couple. I've dropped a couple, I think.
I know. Like, I was on here.
I'm gonna go. I think there's gonna be a fair few goals in it. I'm gonna go 3-3.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's either going to be the cagiest game ever or just a mental game.
Yeah, possibly. I'm going to go 2-2.
Oh, a little Desmond.
It's an interesting game because it's a banana skin for them potentially, and it's more pressure for Klopp.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure on them to beat us.
Do you think there's more pressure for them to win this game? Sorry, not to win, but do you think there's more pressure on a performance from them rather than us?
I think so. What are their fans going to be saying if they get beat or they don't hammer us when Palace beat us 5-1? Do you know what I mean? They're going to be saying, well, why are we struggling to go past them? Blah, blah, blah.
I think the expectancy from from the fan base will be that they should be beating us regardless, after being drilled 5-1 and 4-1 in the last 2 games. I think the expectancy will be on them to win, but I think we as a club are probably under more pressure to perform, not necessarily get points or win, but certainly for a performance this week.
Is Bandy on the sauce there, is he?
4-1 Leeds. Hey,
4-1.
you never know.
Wow.
You never know.
Well, we didn't see 5-1 coming on Sunday, so
No.
Anything can happen in Leeds United land.
Yeah.
I mentioned it on BNC on Monday there. Does anyone know, because I might change my prediction, have we played Liverpool in the Premier League on a Monday night at 8 o'clock since that Yeboah goal? Because I might just go 1-0 for the crack and change my prediction. If that is the case, that has to happen at some point again. Like, there has to be one. Like Gary McAllister got one, then Yeboah got one. There's been a few. Like, you know what I mean? So,
well, Steve says that was the last time we played them on a Monday at home. So,
go on. I'll go 1-0. So,
are you changing it?
I'll go 1-0 for the crack. Just out of pure sentimental tomfoolery, like.
Locked in.
Sound.
I remember where I was when that goal went in as well. I was in Kirkstall Sports Centre.
Yeah,
watching the game in the bar after playing 5-a-side or something.
I was in my dad's local Mick Burns's pub back in Castlebar, or no, Mick Walsh's pub back in Castlebar, and I was with Jimmy and Barry in the pub. Jimmy brought the pair of us down to watch it.
Good point.
Do you have any memory where you were for that game, Luke? Or
no idea, mate. I think I was about 10 years old, I think. Probably out doing some fingering or something.
Oh, God.
That's how we grew up.
It's after 9 o'clock. It's fine.
No, probably wasn't. I don't know. I remember after it. I remember in the playground, every time the ball fell to me, I used to chest it and try kneeing it and volleying it every time.
Every time.
And just screaming Yeboah. Even if I hit it like wrong or with my left foot or anywhere, every time I hit the ball, it was Yeboah.
Totally shinned it. Yeboah.
Yeah, no matter where it went. Even defending, I used to smash it as far as I could up the field. Yeboah!
He's got Tourette's. Don't mind him. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Right. So, Luke, do you want to mention DL? Bring back fingering. Go on, Kev Merson. He knows the old school crack. Jammy, you've no idea. No idea. Luke.
Yes.
Do you want to have an old chat there about the walk and cycle that we're doing for charity with Big Lou?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So we as a group, or some of us from the OKB podcast, Karl, Bren, Matt, and myself, along with Big Lou of LS11 fame, have decided to get together and try and restore some funds back into the Leeds United Foundation that they were expecting that never made it there. If you're aware of the story, I'm not going to go into too much detail tonight. So to do so, we agreed between us to walk the distance between Elland Road and Spurs and back again before we play them on the last day of the season. So we're doing that. It works out around about 7 miles per day. And we're there or thereabouts. Bank holiday weekends put a little bit of a dent in it because I think a few of us had hangovers and drowning in sorrows and whatever else. So we're there or thereabouts, the majority. I think Gilly's slightly ahead. I think Bren's doing quite well as well. I think I'm about spot on. I think Karl and Lou are just ever so slightly behind. But as a group, we're in front or roundabout on spot. But if you do want to sponsor us, we'll pop a link out. You've probably seen it everywhere, but we'll pop it in the description of here as well. If you can't sponsor us, we do appreciate that times are tough and everything else in between. So if you can just share it, we'd be more than appreciative on your socials or whatever else. Just see if we can get the total up. We have already hit the target, which is great, but we obviously want to continue and just see how much we can raise and show good faith to the Leeds United Foundation, who do a great job locally.
Absolutely. So
I still think that you're all mad.
Well,
it's tough, mate. It's tough.
Yeah,
I can believe it. I really can.
Getting motivated to go and do 7 miles every day. Yeah.
Sorry, the 7 miles is under his own steam as well. We can't just jump on a plonk or we've got to do it either on a bike, row, ski, anything under our own steam.
Row and ski.
Yourself on that rowing machine, Karl.
All right, yeah, sorry, the skiing machine, right? Yeah, I get you now.
You can just put a watch on both hands.
So, right, that's cool. So, Luke, you have one more thing that you need to do. How are you going to do it? What is the crack?
I'm gonna
because can you just take it off the wall and show us the signatures a little closer?
I can try. It's not on.
Yeah, just. Oh, it's not. What? Can you take it off your telly then? Give us a look. For those on the audio podcast, I'm just getting Luke to show all the signatures on the jersey that someone has bid for. All the proceeds they're going to
Andy's Man Club.
Yeah, you got it right. There you go. So that's from the 2000-2001 season. Champions League season, isn't it?
I love that.
So yeah, it's one of my favorite shirts. I have it here in my wardrobe. So Luke, I'll hand it over to you.
Let me just find out who is our biggest bidder. I will be 2 seconds because I'm pretty sure I know who it is. So yeah, we were contacted basically by somebody from Australia asking if they were to bid, could we send it out to them? And yeah, more than happy to oblige if their bid was the winner. And their bid was massive. It's $500 Australian dollars, which equates to 270 English pounds. So that will be going to Lee out in Australia. That's at Lee FC12. Thanks ever so much for your bid, mate. We'll be in touch to sort that out and get that delivered to you.
Thanks,
well done. So thanks ever so much for your kind bids. There was plenty of bids on it. And I think 1 or 2 people might be a little bit cheesed off that they didn't try and beat it because they weren't that far off, some of them. So yeah, 270 quid going to Andy's Man Club. Thanks again to Jay Susenko or Jay Michaels in the chat, who's on here, very regular, good friend of the pod. So yeah, thank you ever so much again, Jay, for donating it, and to Lee as well for that winning bid.
Excellent stuff. Well done, Lee. Thanks a million. Well, if that's everything, lads.
I'd just like to give a special mention to Jesse Marsh, who appears to have got close to getting another job and then...
Hang on a minute. Can this not go into a bit of a bitter?
Well, I guess so.
No bitter! With Rachel Adedeji.
I mean, it's not really a bitter because I'm not that upset about it, but I just think it's quite funny.
We're upset he didn't get the job. I'll take the job.
Yeah, well, yeah, I am actually. Because...
Although Dean Smith's got it, which is even better, probably.
Well, either or. Hopefully, the one that didn't get the job will go to one of the other clubs down there. But yeah, I mean, I don't understand the guy. I don't know what he's doing. He's just recently put that tweet out. Oh, not tweet, that Instagram post where he said, proud of my time at Leeds and what I achieved and all this shit. And then he said, I'm going to take some time away now for me and just decide what I'm going to do. And then he's going for every job that pops up in the meantime. Then it seemingly falls apart at the last minute. And I genuinely believe that he's just trying to keep his name in the news. He's hoping that a job that he thinks is better will come up and come his way at some point. So he's trying to keep himself current and trying to keep himself circulating. And that's all I can think that he's doing. Why on earth is he... I don't know what's happened to him. Why on earth is he pissing around like that with these relegation clubs? And then he doesn't even take the job. And apparently they had a meeting with Leicester where he said he didn't agree with the Championship strategy. So whether that means selling everybody decent or if it means they wanted him to play with wingers and he said, sorry, not going to do that, I don't know. But I wish he'd just disappear and fuck off.
Do you think then he's actually just waiting for, because there's talk that a lot of these clubs want to give short-term contracts to see what happens at the end of the season. If managers keep them up, they'll give them an opportunity. If they don't, they'll probably look for a natural successor who is going to be better for them, whether that be in the Championship or as a bottom feeder in the Premier League. So, do we think he's just asking for 3-4 year contracts, and that's the sticking point, or does he think he's better than he is? What's the crack? Do you think?
Not a clue on the contract part, but he definitely thinks he's better than he is. He thinks that he's got some kind of genius tactical nous that he's going to pull results out of his ass.
Do you know what though? I feel like I felt whilst we were improving on it under him, and things were getting slightly better. I think with a good or an elite set of players, I think there was stuff there that we saw that probably could work.
I think
with a better time,
if your players are good enough, Luke, anything can work, you know. But it didn't show an ability to set up a team for what's in front of him. To me, he had ideas that were so rigid that if they didn't work, he were fucked.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's a fair point. And Kevin just said here, if he signs a short-term contract, we stop paying him. So ultimately, stop getting paid by us. And I think he joined us on a 3 or 4 year contract, did he?
Something stupid like that. 3 year, I think.
So, yeah. Probably waiting for a top 6 club. I doubt it. He's hoping for the US men's national team. Andy thinks that's not a bad shout.
That's it.
Danny says he's waiting for the Leeds job in the summer.
Well, we're going to do a Frank Lampard, bring him back.
Yeah.
So we can watch more shit football.
Yeah,
I noticed that he didn't mention that that Jamie said I'm smarter than I look. So
I got jealous actually. I got jealous because Jamie was
the Luke
flirting with
Appreciation Club. You don't need that. I think Karl's trying to come back, but
he's not
pretty much
back.
at the end. To be fair,
yeah. Thank you ever so much, everybody, for joining us. As per, we do appreciate it. If anybody has got any questions, queries that they want to ask us, anything you want us to talk about, even on next week's, please just drop us a line or tag us on Twitter or whatever. Again, thanks ever so much to to Jay for donating the shirt, and to Lee for the highest bid. Thanks for all your comments, and we will be back the next Monday night. It's probably too late, so it'll probably be next Tuesday with a bit of a joint. Brady and Cook and main pod discussing what's happened at Liverpool, and then on to the next game as well. Anything else to say, Jay?
Not a right lot, mate. That's it from me.
No. Do you feel a bit better? Now we've spoken.
A little bit, actually. A little bit.
It's therapy.
Now that I've released the anger and the tension.
Yeah. Again, thank you, everybody. We will see you next week.